What's up, everybody? This is Jose from Southern Life. On today's video, we're going to be looking for homelessness that is hidden deep in the woods here in Florida. Currently in the state of Florida, you can be arrested simply for being homeless. Anybody here? There's a camp right here, very primitive, and it is currently in use, but it's very simple and it's far into the woods. Anybody here coming through? It's very primitive. All they have is basically a tent, some clothes, some cans. We're gonna keep it moving. We don't want to bother them. We're gonna keep it moving. But you can see now that the problem of homelessness in Florida is that with the new laws, the homeless are having to hide ever more discreetly. There's more camps back this way. What is this? That's creepy. Okay, so this is super creepy here. Okay, so whoever's back here is on some creepy crap, guys. You have this plastic duck and these shells here, so this almost looks like they're trying to scare you from coming onto this trail. It's duck right here with these shells and bones as a warning that anybody that comes back here. So this is definitely very dangerous. It's almost getting dark, which means if things got complicated back here, it's almost nighttime. At nighttime is when these camps really get crazy. Alright guys, we're once again looking at a huge homeless camp here. Somewhere in the outskirts of Sarasota and Branson. Huge camp. Now this camp wasn't visible on satellite imagery until after the hurricanes. Alright guys, so I've been here for a while. I don't know if anybody's here. This could be abandoned, but let's start moving through here slowly. So we have a ditch here, which is big enough to put a body in. We got some Café do Brasil here. This site looks abandoned, but it doesn't mean anything. I don't know what this hole is about here, but you can see there's a hole here. This is a fresh hole that somebody's been digging, so I don't know what they're gonna bury here. This is a really huge and ominous site. There's a sign that says stop showering, ask to. I can't really understand it, but there's some type of sign here. But somebody's coming back here to shower. I don't really understand, but this site was hit by the hurricanes, and it is absolutely, look at this. To think that this exists in the United States. I don't know if there's anybody back here, but this was a setup camp back here, but it really, after the hurricane, became visible because the hurricane knocked down a lot of trees. You can see like this one right here, for example. So I'm not sure what this hole is about, but you can see there's a hole there and it's very fresh. Somebody's trying to bury something in that hole, so that's kind of weird because this site looks completely abandoned, but then you see stuff like that. Now look at this site here. Obviously whoever's back here is trying to hide. This is far off the beaten path. This is not something easy to find, accessible. This is completely out of the way. So with a site like this that is so far into the woods, whoever's back here is trying really hard not to be found by law enforcement, probably with new homeless law. So being back here is extraordinarily dangerous. This site is just creepy, but you can tell there was a house here with pallets, but after the hurricane, I'm gonna guess the hurricane came through here and absolutely annihilated this place back here. So we're gonna keep moving through here, and this is the site we're walking through. I don't know if there's anybody back here. My guess is that there are people in this area in general. I just don't know how far into the woods they are. These sites are really, you gotta kind of just slow it down and walk through here because there's over there's like a barricade over here. I want to show you guys. I'm gonna guess that this site here, the hurricane absolutely destroyed it, because before the hurricane this was more compact, all into one single shelter, but the hurricane came through here and just absolutely annihilated this homeless camp. And when it did that, it left behind a trail of destruction here. And then that's how I was able to find this homeless camp, because this is far into the woods and it was underneath the tree line, so you couldn't really see this homeless camp on Google Maps. before the hurricane, but with the satellite imagery after the hurricane, then it became visible. So you have whatever this is, WWF thing here, and up ahead there's some type of what looks like a barricade. All right, guys, so now this looks a little bit more inhabited here. So they're drying up some tarps and some tents and stuff here. Kind of look like a barricade, but it's really not a barricade. But take a look at the site, guys. This is a huge site. So now there are more camps back here, but we gotta keep in mind it's getting late at night, and this site here appeared right after the hurricane. So my guess would be that this is a more compact homeless camp, and then after the hurricane came through here, the hurricane just destroyed it all. This entire wooded area has camps like this scattered all throughout, and it's not just 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. There's probably 20 or 30 camps back here. There's another camp here. It looks very orderly, so I'm gonna guess there's somebody here. Coming through, coming through. Hello. There's somebody here. This is an inhabited camp, clearly. I gotta get through it though. I'm just trying to get through here. Hello, just coming through, no harm. Anybody here? Just coming through. Obviously, so what's happening now with new homeless law in Florida is that the homeless people have to go deeper and deeper into the woods. This is clearly an inhabited site. Coming through. You can see there's like a little house here made out of palm branches and all types of furniture and stuff. So now the homeless people are coming deeper and deeper into the woods. Just coming through. I'm on the trail. Just coming through. No harm. Just coming through. Coming through. Anybody here? Just coming through. No harm intended. Just coming through. No harm. Anybody here? Hello? So this is and there's you gotta be careful because there's a ladder there going up to the tree, so they could kite up on the trees and throw something at you from the top. That's really dangerous. So yeah, this is somebody's living here. Just coming through, coming through. This could be a booby trap right here for somebody. Walk around the outside. Solar panels here. So this camp here looks inhabited. We're gonna keep it moving because it's inhabited. We're not gonna mess with anything because it's somebody's home, obviously. But there's a lot of places like this, and I don't know if they're running away as they hear us, but this is a nice actual camp here. Like, this is a legitimate camp in the woods. So when you're walking through here, you got stuff like this right here. Let me show you guys. I don't know if this is directly ahead. There's another camp. I'm pretty sure there's a camera there, but there's another camp over here. So there's one over there and the one over here. We're gonna respect this camp and get away from it because it's probably somebody's home and we don't want to bother them. But this is another camp back in these woods, and these camps look either very fresh. They don't look guys, these campsites do not look abandoned. These campsites look very fresh. So the problem now is these trails. Where do they lead to? Just about everywhere I look, there's camps here. I'm on a trail now. You can see there's a camp over there. Let's see if we can walk up to it. And you can see there's a camp over there. The hurricane also happened right as the new law took effect, and that is interesting to think that the homeless people experienced 2 hurricanes back to back right before they left or disappeared. And that's an interesting thing to think about, because if you think about it, well, that would kind of persuade anybody to leave Florida. 2 hurricanes. Now, this camp here, you can tell it flooded. Everything's scattered here. It's really abandoned, and clearly it got abandoned because of the hurricane. This was a female's camp, judging by the clothes that's back here. This was a female's camp back here. And obviously, without a doubt, what happened here was the hurricane. You can tell that everything here got completely destroyed with the hurricane. And I really wouldn't even doubt that some of the homeless people that were back here for the hurricane. I've asked a lot of the homeless people, and it seems I don't know, 20 or 30% of the homeless people in Florida in this area actually stayed behind for the hurricane in their tents, which means that some of these people would have been back here during the hurricane. Now, if they were back here and they perished, the other homeless people would have buried them somewhere in these woods. So there's no telling what's in these woods. When they build your new community in Florida, they come through here and they plow these fields, and there's no telling what's in the ground. So this camp here, without a doubt, shows signs of being a victim of the hurricane. That's what we're looking at here. Somebody had their nice little camp here in the woods. Definitely this was a female, annihilated. Let's take a look at some of the things that are out here. You got a little purse. You got another purse over here. Little sprinkles of glitter. All these are very feminine items here. You got a can with a bunch of different things here. You got a picture frame over here. You got a bra over here. So this was clearly a female's camp here. There's a book bag there. There's a sweater over here. So just little things here and there. All of this clearly destroyed by the hurricanes. So imagine the state of Florida, October 1st, that homeless law takes effect. But on top of that, you get hit by 2 hurricanes. So 2 hurricanes and that law would have been enough to persuade a lot of homeless people to just voluntarily leave the state of Florida. We're on a trail here, which I have no idea where it leads to. There is an umbrella here, and this umbrella was left open, which would suggest to me, I don't know what you guys think, but I think an umbrella left open would practically suggest that this umbrella was being used at the time it was lost. There's a large tree here. Coming through. Large tree, and a lot of times large trees can be very strategic to throw something at you from above, so we gotta look up before we walk. You can just see the tarp here. Coming through. This is somebody who's really trying to hide. I mean, this camp here, let's see if we can find a way into this camp, but this camp underneath this tree is not one that's out in the open. This one is very well hidden in the woods. Is a very primitive camp. It's very primitive. I'm pretty sure it's abandoned. It looks abandoned, and again, it looks like it would have been abandoned from the time of the hurricane. Let's walk back here real quick. You can see there's a big tree. This tree's down in the way here. This is definitely abandoned. So again, the hurricane did a lot of damage to these camps. You can see here, this was like a foam mattress floor. They had a tarp over it. Oh, and this is just styrofoam, it cracks. Okay, it's not very strong. You can see they got a tarp here. Mosquitoes are starting to come out. Big giant tree actually back in here. Got a giant tree, and you got some flooring. This was a very secluded spot back here with this big tree behind that. You really couldn't sneak up on this person. This is very well concealed. Styrofoam flooring and all that. Let's see what else we can find out here. This might have been like a bedding. Some bicycle parts, some mattresses here. So all this here, here's a bowling ball out of all things, bowling pin, right? But all this would have been abandoned right by the hurricane. So these were camps that were inhabited recently. Like, the craziest thing about this spot is you can tell that there were recently people here. You know, you'd think an empty lot like this would be trees and wildlife, but it's actually homeless camps, abandoned homeless camps. So as the homeless are fleeing this area with the hurricanes and the new law that came in against the homeless, look at this. Dude, look at that. That is worth a lot of money. This is an air plant. That's a big one too, guys. Look at that. Somebody literally had an air plant back here. These things are worth, this is called a staghorn. That right there is worth a few $100s. So there's a staghorn back here. That's crazy. And of course, you know, you had winds come through here and sweep everything out of the way. So these camps are just a fraction of what they were before. But you can see they got all types of weird stuff. I mean, a staghorn over there. By the way, that staghorn's worth a few $100s. You got a cooler here with practically nothing in it right now, right? But you got a cooler there. I'm pretty sure most of these camps are abandoned. There's one towards the front that might be inhabited, but I think this far into the woods right now, most are going to be abandoned. You have a little table here in the woods. So this person was a junk picker. He's got himself a staghorn. You can tell he had a mattress here. I'm sure the hurricane came through and ripped this up. So what's left here is a mattress right now, right? You see this mattress here. But you can see they had a piece of wood up here. This would have been for the roof. The tarp would be anywhere. There's no telling where the tarp for this roof would be right now. Obviously, the tarp for this roof could be anywhere. But the hurricane absolutely annihilated this camp right here. Now, it is getting dark on me, and without a doubt, the last thing you want to do is to be stuck in places like this late at night. Now, keep in mind, we are in the middle of the woods, and I see a ladder climbing up to a tree. That looks like a ladder going up a tree, but you can see here pallets on the ground, mattress over here, and they do have like a ladder. Look at this, guys. They have a ladder to climb up there. Look at this, dude. They literally have a ladder here to climb up to this tree. They have like a tree house up there. Further ahead, you can tell this is an abandoned site where the hurricane left behind a lot of debris, and it is now literally starting to cool down. The sun is gone, and it is literally starting to get nightfall out here. It is starting to feel like nightfall, and we are still out here. So this is now a time for me to find a trail that takes me the crap up out of here before it gets any darker, because it is now nighttime. If you live in the Sarasota and Bradenton area, I bet this would be past your wildest imagination that a site like this exists here. But it does. I mean, you have like a tree house here. I'm sure they had a tree house up there, and the hurricane just dropped and scattered. That's what it looks like here. There's a lot of mattresses back here, so this would have been like a treehouse campsite. Hurricanes came through and annihilated this spot. Let's look at the map real quick and figure out how we're going to get out of here, because it is now literally starting to get dark on us. I see a trail over here that I'm going to assume is the way out. I'm going to guess this area floods a lot because they have pallets on the ground, which would, to me, tell me that during the wet season, this is a place that floods. With how far into the woods we are, I really expected that we were going to run into people back here. I'm actually really surprised that we didn't run into people out here. You can see there's a lot of garbage on this trail. So this will be a trail that probably floods. And probably a flooded trail. And I don't think right now people thinking that we're stealing stuff is a problem, because these camps have already been raided more than once. There's nothing back here other than that staghorn, which I don't know if a homeless person would recognize the value of that, but if they did, we have to get out of here. And we are deep into the woods. I'm going out a different way than I came in, and that's a little tricky because it's possible that there isn't a trail. You can see here this vine. If it was really dark, that would cut you right up. So now what I don't like is that we're going out a different way than we came in, and that's a little dangerous, to be honest. It feels creepy out here. You see little scattered miniature small campsites, very primitive camping sites, and my concern is that here in the front on the way out there will be people, and they're gonna wonder why we were so far into this crap so late at night. So right now, getting out of here is essential for our safety, and I don't like the fact that I'm going out a different way that I came in, because I don't know where this trail is going to lead to. But going back the way I came would take hours. Probably take an hour to come back the way I came, so that's not going to happen. Tire right there on the ground. And everywhere you look, there's like, you know, there's miniature little camps everywhere. So like this out here, we got to get out. I can see some buildings up ahead. Up ahead, I can see some buildings, but that's not the end of the road. We still have to get back to an area where it's inhabitable. There's a lake over here. All right, guys, so after a crazy adventure in the woods, we are now going to get ourselves some well-deserved Cuban food. Now, the prices at this Cuban spot right here are so affordable that me and Katie calculate that it would almost cost the same amount of money for us to cook it at home as it would to buy it here cooked, and that is incredible. All right, guys, for just $25, I got an iron beer, which is a Cuban drink. You can get these at Publix if you've never had them. It's like a Cuban root beer. We got some carne con papa, beef stew with potatoes, beans, rice. Katie went with chicken and some vegetables.